Hey guys, welcome back. Firstly, I just want to thank you all so much for being here. Those that have supported this journey, liked, commented, and shared these videos and this podcast with everyone so far. I have a really incredible story I want to share with you all. And this story is so dear and near and dear to my heart that I truly haven't quite realized why it is that I haven't shared this in such a long time. Whilst recording these episodes for you all, I've really been racking my brain thinking, what is it that the collective want to hear? How is it that I can best support, the collective consciousness evolution, bring you real life, evidential, spiritual stories. And this is so evidential. It even blows my mind to think about it. So it all starts in the chiropractor room where I met a spirit guide in physical form. And then he disappeared. Now I'm going to take you on a journey. And this episode might be a little bit longer than the others, but trust me, it will be worth your time. If you don't know who I am, my name is Tamzin. I'm the Collective Consciousness Coach. I have access to the Akashic Records. I have been contacted by the Galactic Council of Light. I connect with star seed tribes and leaders throughout the universe. I'm a psychic medium and I've been working in this industry professionally for around about 5 years. However, I have been on such a deep spiritual journey my whole life where I had invisible friends, which at the time I didn't realize they were invisible, from when I was a young child, 3-4 years old. And that is a whole nother episode on its own. But let's go back to it. The spirit guide in physical form that then disappeared. Okay. So it all started in an osteopath room. I had been going to this osteopath for months and months and months. And there was this one day that I walked in to the office, the waiting room, and I was just sitting there. And there was another gentleman sitting in the waiting room too. And some of these points may not sound mind-blowing to you, but when I look back, it really were the signs that this was an insane spiritual upgrade. And I'm going to tell you every single one of the signs because at the time they didn't seem like big things. But if I can explain this to you so then you can start to understand the signs in your reality, then my purpose here has been complete. The first sign, looking back, is that there was only one osteopath. And whenever I went to my appointment, there was never anybody else in the waiting room because there was only ever one booking at a time. And so when he was in this osteopath waiting room, I was thinking to myself, am I here too early or too late, or do I even have an appointment today? Next point. I've never seen this man before in my life. And he said to me, so I didn't know him, he didn't know me, but he said to me, "Hey, has your dad died?" Immediately, I thought to myself, who says that to a stranger? Me even being a medium, I don't say that to a stranger. But I was drawn in, right? Because my answer was yes. And so I thought to myself, intriguing, confused, not sure what's going on here, because at this time, I wasn't aware of my soul purpose or my spiritual journey or my psychic gifts. So I said, yeah. And he goes to me, well, he's here with you. And I was like, oh, okay. That's interesting. And then he goes, he's got a message for you. And I was like, oh, really? And full body goosebumps, sensations. I was a bit taken back, as I can assume anybody in that situation would be. Now, this story just keeps getting stranger and stranger and crazier, but so fucking mind-blowing. It's so hard to even comprehend. So please make sure that you listen to this whole episode, because it is honestly going to rock your world. So then he goes, your dad's got a message for you. He knows that you've been asking what your soul purpose is. What's your soul purpose? And yes, I had been going through a bit of a self-discovery journey. I had some health issues going on at the time. My life had completely transitioned, and, a lot of things fading away, a lot of old, energies, a lot of new stuff. I was going through a major change, and I had a lot of questions within myself, wondering what's the purpose of life? What am I even doing here on earth? Surely there's more to this than what I was doing. But I didn't say that to anyone. I was just doing my own inner work, right? And when he said that, he goes, your dad has a message for you. He's hearing you ask yourself, what's your soul purpose? And I was just captivated. More than anything, I thought to myself, there's a stranger that can read my mind. What is going on? And then he said to me, do you want to go outside and chat? And I said, of course, I am down for this. And then we went outside, and he said to me, you're special. You've got magic within you. You can hear your dad. You just haven't tuned into him yet. You doubt your abilities. And your gifts are the Akashic Records. And I had never even heard of what the Akashic Records, that word never came into my world at all. And I said to him, what's the Akashic Records? And he said, the Akashic Records is a library of information, a data portal of all that has been and all that could be, with every human's life's journey, every thought, every emotion, every experience, everything. And I was like, if it's part of my purpose, then why am I not aware of it? Why am I only hearing about it now? And he said, you will be contacted by the Galactic Council of Light, who will also give you an upgrade to receiving the permission, grant the permission to access the collective consciousness Akashic Records and be able to access individuals' Akashic Records to help them. And so my mind was just blown, right? My mind was blown. I had no real idea what he was saying. I was listening, and it landed clearly. And then I got called into my appointment, the osteo appointment. And during my whole osteo session, I just thought to myself, what was that? What was that? However, I missed one crucial detail. When I got called to go into the osteopath room, I said to him, I'm very intrigued about all of this. And I want to know more. So how? How can we learn more? And he said, here's my mobile number. Let's catch up. Yes. I took his mobile number after my osteopath session. I went home. I told my partner all about this experience. both of us were just gobsmacked. It was quite mind-blowing. Because a lot of the things he said I hadn't even, heard about at all. But my partner knew I was on quite a deep self-discovery journey. And, starting to try and understand, the gifts, or, the psychic, connections, or the hearing, because I was getting lots of hearing and visionary. I was going through it, the whirlwind, right? And I went home and told my partner, and he was like, you need to catch up with him. Like, you need to go back and hear the rest of whatever he had to say. And so I messaged this dude and I said, I'm going to the beach tomorrow to watch the sunrise. Here's where I'll be. Would you like to join me? And he wrote back, yep, I'll see you there. And it was scary. It was a bit nerve-wracking, yes. Because I didn't know this dude. I was meeting up with another man that I'd never met before. I didn't know who he was. But I just trusted, right? Like, I knew that it was what I needed. And I got to the beach. I was sitting there. It was dark initially because I was there to watch the sunrise. And I was sitting there by myself. There was some street lights. Just to paint the picture for you. There was some street lights. There wasn't really anyone around when I initially got there. But then he arrived. And he was walking behind me and he came and sat down next to me. And we kind of had a little bit of initial, small talk. How you going? Thanks for coming. And then it was like a daze. An absolute daze. Because we started talking. And he started telling me about the Galactic Council of Light and the Palladians, the Arcturians. He started telling me about the sacred codes within the Akashic records. He started telling me that I have a natural ability to astral-travel, and he's aware that, my lucid dreaming abilities are, divine, like perfect, and out of nowhere. So both him and I sitting there, like on this little ledge, at the beach. Out of nowhere, as we were looking over the ocean, over the water, these three crows kind of flew up out of nowhere. Out of nowhere, comes around and then hovers right in front of us. They maybe, I don't know, I'm going to say like 30 meters away from us. Facing us, hovering. So they kind of like flew, swooped, and then started hovering about 30 meters in front of us. And then what I saw was directly in front of them was like this big round, like glistening circle, illuminating in the middle of the sky. And in my mind at the time, I was like, what is going on? But I just thought to myself, I know full well this is real. Like, this is real life. This is reality. Like, I know that I just got up and I drove where I was. And I started like looking around, and there was like, people walking by on their morning walk. And I was like, this is happening. Like, this is real. This is really happening. And so he said to me, because we were both silent, I thought that he was like dazed in like, what the fuck is going on? But he wasn't. He looked at me and he said, are you ready? And I was like, yeah, I am. So peacefully and calm. And it was like this acceptance, this surrender of like, I know this has to happen. And so as soon as I said, yeah, I am, him and I, we both, at the exact same time, I saw my soul and his soul right next to each other, project out of our physical vessels, out of our body, and have like what could be best described as an out-of-body experience. And we initially went up, and then straight through the portal. And he started showing me everything from what the collective consciousness looks like, what the Akashic records looks. We walked through the Akashic library. I met my Akashic masters. I saw doorways and gateways. I met starseed leaders. We then teleported onto a different planet, onto a different world, realm, dimension. There was other civilizations, beings, tribes, life forms. We then shot and drove and flew and we went everywhere. And it was like just visions, but I saw it all like a movie, but like I was a part of the movie. And it felt like such a long time. Yet, it felt like it all happened within an instant. I gathered so much from this experience. It's quite mind-blowing because then we came back into our bodies. I opened my eyes and I realized that I was still in the exact same place at the beach with him that whole time. And I looked at my phone and it had been 5 hours and there was people everywhere. It was like the middle of the day. And we were in a very, very, very public place. There were people everywhere. And then after that, we went our separate ways. And I was so intrigued. I still had so many questions. I went home and I told my partner about it and he was like just mind blown again. As was I. You know, I said I knew that this was going to take time to really integrate and digest and like land and make sense. And it did. It continued to make more sense over time. And I'm here now many years later with so much confirmation and evidential experiences and awareness to everything that has occurred. Now, the reason that this is how meeting a spirit guide in physical form and then he disappeared. I tried messaging him after this experience. I called him. I tried searching up him on Facebook and social media. I couldn't find anything. He never replied to my messages. He never answered my phone calls. The name he gave me, there was no evidence of this person. I couldn't find him anywhere. No one knew who I was talking about. The name didn't exist. And I don't know. You know, that could just simply well be the way it is. But I truly believe that over my time of, all the things I've been through and all the deep spiritual connections and people that I have in my life that have heard this story have really reconfirmed to me that this was a spirit guide experience in physical form that fulfilled the purpose of showing up in my realm, in my reality, in my world. And so I hope that you have enjoyed this, learned something. Maybe it's helped you confirm situations or experiences or signs within your life. And maybe there's somebody out there in your life that you feel could really benefit from hearing this, or it may serve them in one way or another. So I would love it if you could share this with your like-minded friends and family so we can really, really, really get the message out there that these phenomenal experiences can happen and do happen to everyone all the time. So thank you so much for being here and listening. And don't forget to tune in to the next episode.